God is going to give me a dream, but the dream is supposed to communicate a specific message. So he will give me part of the dream, and then he waits for my maturity and releases part of the dream. We'll give an example of Joseph. Joseph has a dream, and in the dream, he's shown being a leader to his brothers. But that's not the complete message. God gives the other dream to Pharaoh. It's one dream that God could have given to Joseph. But the dream, if it was only given to Joseph, it would not have been fulfilled. So God gives part of the dream to Joseph, and then which causes Joseph to stay up jealous in the hearts of his brothers. Joseph is chased from his house. What happens next? Joseph, now when he is in Pharaoh's house, Pharaoh then receives the other part of the dream. It is still one dream. It is still one message. Because if a dream is a message, the Bible says that God speaketh once, yet twice, yet men perceiveth it not. In a dream. And then he speaks later and he says he still had their instructions. So God is going to give you one dream, and he's going to wait for you to mature, and then he gives you another dream. Then he waits for you to mature, he gives you another dream. So let's say you're going to have 5 dreams in one night. It is not necessarily 5 different dreams, but it can be dreams that carry messages that are connected. I had a dream 2 years ago that is connected to a dream that I'm having now. God was waiting for me to mature so that he can tell me more. Do you know that there are things that God is not showing you right now because of your maturity? Somebody asked earlier on at the beginning of the program and say that, okay, man of God, do dreams carry different interpretations? Remember that we know in parts and we prophesy in parts. So I can have a dream, but it's partially interpreted. Why? It is because that's what I can understand and handle. So God waits for me to mature, then he releases the other parts. So partial interpretation, then the other part is released. Joseph, you're not going to receive all the dream. You're going to receive part of the dream. And then when you mature, you receive the rest of the dream. Joseph, you're not going to receive the whole dream. But when you mature, the other part of the dream is going to be released to Pharaoh. So the key with God, God is a master communicator. He understands what you can keep and what you will lose. So he releases the information that you can keep and that you can steward. And then he waits for you to have an understanding or interpretation. Then he releases other information. So your growth then determines how much God will speak. That's why to the disciples, when he's about to go, that's when he says that I now want to share with you secrets. Meaning that before that, he wasn't sharing certain things with them. So your maturity then determines how much God speaks to you and how much God shows you. You get it? So you have to grow. You have to grow. You have to grow. Somebody says, how do you know if a dream from God or the ones from the devil or just me thinking? Now, the challenge that we have is this. We assume that dreams are from the devil. But dreams are never from the devil. But dreams are revelations. Let me explain. Let me give one of the strangest examples. First of all, a dream is a revelation. Meaning that any message that you're seeing in a dream is not happening in a dream. It's communicating what has been happening in your life. Many people, they think that sexual dreams, the demon is sleeping with you at that moment. But sexual dreams, some of the dreams already are abusing you during the day. Remember, Jesus says, when you just look at a woman lustfully, you would already have slept with her. During the day, those lustful thoughts, you were engaging in some form of intimacy, but this was in the realm of thoughts that you're not conscious of. So now, the demons, because they were taking advantage of you during the day, play back what you were experiencing during the day at night. So you are waking up and you are binding the dream, but yet when you were up, you were not binding the emotions and the feelings of lust that you were struggling with. So many people will tell you that, man of God, I'm struggling with a spiritual spouse, but it begins in the day. As you're sitting in the day, as you're going through your day, that's where the attacks are happening. So what are dreams? Dreams then becomes revelations of what you were struggling with in the day. But not all dreams. But they are what are called trances or attacks that happens in dreams. What are these attacks? These are like where you wake up with pain. There are sexual dreams where you wake up with semen. I've heard of such things. A person wakes up and there's some funny stuff on them. And when they closely look at it, they say, no, this is wrong. That's not a dream. That now is an attack, total attack. Why? It is because now the enemy has taken a form and is abusing you through that form. That one is a different level. So, but when it's a dream, it's just revelation. But those attacks are deeper. So let's say you are having a revelation. The revelation relates to what you're struggling with. But when you're having an attack, it is happening because you're not in control of the situation and the circumstance. So there are certain depths to dreams. I wish we could have a dreams masterclass if only we can have patient people who are hungry to learn. Patient people who are hungry to grow, who are saying, Apostle, can you teach us more on dreams? So there is so much about dreams that I would want to teach you. And I pray that God is going to give us the grace to teach more on this. Can we have another question before I jump? Somebody is speaking about controlling your dreams. How do you control your dreams? Controlling your dreams is called lucid dreaming. Who is a lucid dreamer? To be lucid means to be conscious, to be cognizant, to be aware. So you can be a lucid dreamer, but lucid dreaming is mastered when you are awake. I give an example of Solomon. Solomon is speaking and is saying wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom. Right? So when he is sleeping, when an angel comes to him or when God comes to him and asks him, what do you want? He says wisdom, because before he went to sleep, he had meditated on wisdom and he knew what he wanted. So in a dream, you respond according to the knowledge that you already have. You don't respond to a dream outside of the knowledge that you have, outside of the victory that you have. So there's what is called a lucid dream, where you can be able to lucidly respond to a dream, when you can be able to lucidly respond to a dream. So there are so many aspects of dreams, but that's the simple aspect that I can really show you from. So spirits are funny. It's like walking with a bully. So someone can be struggling with a certain demonic spirit, and they come in your presence, and because they are walking with the spirits, the spirit wants to bully anyone that comes in their presence. So there are people that are facing demonic attacks because someone with a demonic attack came into their atmosphere. And because spirits are bullies, they always want to attack anyone and everything around them. So that's where now you have to be matured. When you are matured, it means that if a bully comes in your presence, it sees your growth and says, I can't attack that person. So let's say someone is dealing with a spiritual spirit or a demonic spirit that is of a sexual nature. When they come in your presence, because of this bully type of spirit, they can begin to intimidate you. But if you're matured, that's why always you have to grow spiritually. Spiritual growth is mandatory. Because from your spiritual growth, that's why you can be able to overcome certain demonic influences around you. That's why you can be able to overcome certain demonic influences around you. I need wisdom and strength to always walk in victory. So what do? I have to grow. Because you don't know who you will come in contact with. You are in a taxi, you're sitting next to someone. Then the spirit there thinks, because that I can just attack this one. They're always looking for an opportunity to always